Hello, how are you? My name is Anthony Gray and welcome to Grayscale Painting. Today we shall talk about tones, and so I'll be working on a painting in total black and white. I chose this from a photograph that I thought was pretty neat looking. Pretty simple imagery, but it's just a gradation of tones, and you would be surprised how light you would have to make your color of gray to still relay a nighttime scene, especially when it's just the moonlight and the glare. Okay, and basically it's really the moonlight and water, all right, with the corresponding hills, and each one's a different level of gray. Okay, and the true black would be in the two preceding hills on each side, and whatever is on the very foreground is completely jet black, but all the rest is really tones of gray to really work on. Okay, so I will do my representation of this. All right, and so I believe that this is an 8 by 17 inch roll canvas on the foam board. Okay, all right, and I'm gonna start with, believe it or not, a nice light coat of glycerin on the board here, like I usually do. Now this one I technically did not have to really tape off, but even in this painting, because you're gonna still see the gradation of grays, I still wanted to have somewhat of a border on this, and this is a very thin amount of vegetable glycerin, which is what I use for an extender retarder, because when you use it, especially on transparent paints or whatever, it just makes your paint more transparent. All right, and if you can't tell, I am working, it's midday now, so plenty of sunlight, which is why I don't have none of the lights on, but you can see the glare of the glycerin here. Now I'm going to start working on really the tones of gray that's kind of needed. It doesn't have to be per se super light, but still a lot more black in the gray than you would think. Once you introduce white into your black, it will never truly return to that black. Okay, so I'm got my white and my black. I'm mixing it in there just to get a certain tone going. So there'll be a lot of fading. All right, so you would be surprised how much of this will actually somewhat be needed. Okay, and doesn't go all over the whole board. All right, that it does not do. There is a point of where the water would meet, okay, where the gray would kind of come out toward the side, but not necessarily super even. And I'll be working with this off and on. Okay, and like I say, it's my representation of the photo. Okay, and in this part up here, it's really a circular motion. So I will be expanding this into a light circle. All of this actually, wherever I want the center pretty much to be. And I'm just using a very soft brush. Circular motion, and I'll be fading this circle. Okay. Like I say, even this, looking at it right now, might be a little light, or a little too light. But we'll see as I keep working with it. And as I'm doing it, I will start fading it out, because I want the presence of that darkness still around it. Okay. So just really fading it all in. And remember, still give an air of dark within all of this. So lightly, very lightly, getting it smooth. This is where we represent the water. Okay. I think I can actually get away with this. Now this would be an excellent one to do tones with. All right. To really start playing with gradations, tones, and values. A painting like this, not very difficult painting, really. It's just to get the illusion of darkness, but using these tones of gray. All right. Now, in the center where I would want the moon itself, I'm just using a little half brush here. I'll obviously put the moon here in the center, a little dot right in here, a little dot of brightness. And we'll kind of fine tune this. But I'm doing the first layer right in here. Okay. And then I will fan this out. Okay, get it circular, well, circular as you can anyway. I'm trying to at least try to get it even there. If I keep shaping it, something like that. All right. And then once again, I'm just pressing again, going in a circular motion, just like that. Very light, just like that. See how you get that little bit of glow there? It will shine a little bit more. Okay. And still make it kind of smooth. I'll still X the edges. I don't have to add any black to this. So far, so good, basically is what I'm saying. All right. I'll take another 1/2 inch, and now I'll start to gently, ever so slightly, I'll lighten the gray just a little bit and put the representation of where the moon may be. It may be in here. Okay. Now, as I'm doing this, like so, you got to maintain this kind of perspective there. It gets kind of, you're getting little shades of the light beam. The light beam goes a little to the left, a little to the right. Very simple type of painting, once again, to do. And like I say, I'll be fine tuning all of this too. Okay, a little gap here, a little light here, a little dot there, something like that, and maybe one more right around in that area. And this is not the final highlight. I'm still working things in. Okay, now with this water, you're still going straight across, very lightly. Sometimes one pass will do. Keep it pretty horizontal, like that. But you're starting to see the appearance and what it's starting to look like here. Okay. All right. Now it's time to be a little bit selective in where you want your strongest light beams. Okay, so in order for me to kind of sell that, I'm going to use the reverse. I'm going to use the back end of my brush just to pinpoint where I want that moon to be, right about in here somewhere. Okay, right about there. All right. Now, I shall take my finger and I'll just rub a circular. I'm wiping off my hands because I'm going to soften that edge. Just like that. Look at that. Well, camera might be a little far away for you to really notice, but really soft, just like so. Then I will take just pure white and I'll start to add little something like that to it. Okay, now that I've done that, right, we're gonna fade that. Very soft fade. Okay, and I'll just take it and let's expand that a little bit. Same thing here. Take it, rub it, have it grow outward a little bit. I'll bring this back also. I'll fade that back out. So a lot of, and we gotta kind of, there we go. And fade that out a little bit. Kind of travel that line back out a little. And it starts to really kind of fade out a little. And I'll show you what to do with that. Take your soft brush again and very lightly X strokes, just fade it a little bit, just fade it. Go here, I'll do the same thing. I'll just X strokes lightly. And then I shall take my larger one and continue the light circle. Light circle. Okay, little X strokes there, smooth it out. And you can build upon this. That glow. You want the directional glow to be there still. But it's very, very airy, very light. Okay, and you can just build upon what I'm doing here. Okay. I'll bring some of that lightness back. You'll be bringing that lightness back and forth often. You get the effect you're looking for. And once again, I'll just take this very soft back and forth. And I'll take the brush once again, very soft, soften it, and go back into circle motion, very light. Okay. Very soft X strokes. All about tones here. Make some of that disappear there. Alright. Just like that. And you're really working those gradations out. Okay. We've got smaller ones that kind of eke out at the edges there. And if you want, for right now, do the north, south, east, west type of thing. Something like that. Maybe one a little bit longer there. Okay. Wipe off your brush. All about softness. Something you can't rush. Okay. Very soft. Very soft. Just kind of work it in there. Very soft. Go in that direction. And don't worry, it's all going to blend. Soft. Very soft. Very soft. I'll have that one come out a little bit more. They don't have to be even. Okay. Very soft blend. Very soft. On the outside, wide circle there. So you can see the hint of something shining there. But the two that I need to shine the most are the initial first two. Okay. This fella here and this fella here. They need to shine a little bit the most there. All right, and I can take the rest right in here. Use your finger gently. You feather it. A lot of tones here. Clean off my brush. This is a long bristled 1/2 inch brush. Okay, once again, I'm going from the sides here. Okay, and you want to kind of make it meet into that brightness. All right, I'm gonna get another dot of white paint, put it in there, so kind of meet the intensity there. Okay, It's like that. Once again, I'll start softening some things here. I'll expand that glow a little bit from the sides, come out just a little bit, still keeping that intensity. Okay, and once again, very lightly just soften, very lightly. Go back in this wide circle, just like that. All right. Now, it gets really interesting here. You think the rest is going to be gray, but it's not. It'll be a darker gray. Okay, for the back mountain. All right, I think I got enough here. Now, here's the bottom of this guy. Right up in here will be the bottom. You can have it at a curve. It's all right. Okay, but we got a mountain here. Looks like this, and it kind of comes up around there like that. Believe it or not, it needs to be just a little touch darker. Now remember, there's still white in the black that I'm mixing in, so it is not totally black. Very simple painting, all in tones and shades. Okay. But it's just getting a representation of still being a nighttime scene. Okay. And believe it or not, I can even go a little darker, because you're not going to get total black out of that. That's not going to happen. For the reason of the white being in there. So you're getting darker and darker shades of gray. Not necessarily white. Full black. And that's all I'm doing, is just getting it gradually darker and darker. Paint's pretty wet because of the glycerin that's on it. Okay. Just like so. Darker and darker. And you gotta yet wait till it dry, because it dries flat. So it's darker than you think. Much like that. All right. Let's work on that shine on the bottom. Once again, I'll just get a little bit of white and we bring that intensity right up in here somewhere. All right. And I'll be wisping on the sides here. Something like that. So make it pretty intense, just about there. I'm taking the dry brush and very gently just make it travel a little bit. Make that intensity just kind of travel with the where the water will be represented. Okay. Now, your highest part of the water would be represented here like this. Just bring that out a little bit more. And we're going to start waving in different water patterns, but they have to be bright. This is the brightest part, really. You don't have to use too much of the of this bright white. Little dots basically represented here. Wave it from the left a little bit to the right. I'm starting to skip some because some of the darkness of the waves will be in there. So little patterns like that. All right. So hopefully you're starting to understand, you're starting to see what's starting to represent here. Okay. And once again, very lightly, I go from the left to the right, very lightly, very light. Okay. Now, if you feel you lost some of it, have no fear. You can always bring it back. Very light, horizontal. Water flowing horizontally. Just like that. I'm using the 1/2 inch for this. Make sure you wipe off your brush often. Just like that. I'm going to take my little softy brush here and gently just kind of wave it around there. Okay. So I'm still checking it out in spots there. See, I can go vertically just to wipe off some of the excess. Just like that, back and forth. Very smooth, very smooth. As I'm looking, I guess that will make it, that'll do. We're gonna do something else now. Get yourself a 1/2 inch with a very nice sharp edge here. Because believe it or not, even though it may appear to be black, it's not as solid black. And we're gonna put some of the dark waves in there. The wave bottom, the shadow wave, even in some a moonlit painting, you will still be able to see them. So I go maybe at the ends it's very thin. It gets a little thick, a little darker, and then it goes thin again like that. All right, and we do another one. Just like that. Okay. And maybe get it thick out here. All right. Jet black, nothing but black. I'll come here. They get larger and longer as you get closer. All right. But you see now what I mean about those tones. What you think isn't there is truly there. Long one right here. Keep on going. You kind of see it now. Give the look of the ocean, of the water coming through. Actually, let's get this one bigger. Just like that, coming right across. Just like that. Keep going across. Let that thing travel right through. Because they get larger as they get closer. Just like that. And towards the bottom, obviously, pretty much jet black. All up in here. Now, when you see me do this, and you get to finally see how that true black reveals all that light tones of gray that you didn't think was going to be there. There. Look at that. See, I bet you didn't think that much of that white would travel like that. But you see that it does. Okay. Oh, we can get a little piece of something a little thin piece of something there, and a couple of lines in there, and we can kind of lightly brush some of that dark in this area here. Kind of help bring some of that back there. Same thing here, get a little darkness going in there. And you brush some of that in, bring some of that darkness in there. Surround it a little bit, real soft. See this? See? There you go. See how it all kind of comes back a little bit? And you can still see some of that mountain there. Okay, but that mountain has two of them that are jet black right by it. Little eddies that stick out a little bit. So we're gonna have one come right about here, jet black, about right here. Come on down. He comes about there. Really dark right up in here. And it kind of curves around. This is jet black right in here. It kind of comes out there and it kind of curves. That's one. Okay. Make it extremely as dark as you can. There's another one. He comes, maybe he's a little smaller, right about here. And he comes about that high. He comes on back, right up in there like this. Now that you know where it is, and you know that it's jet black, these two areas, let's make this one real thin and kind of disappear in there. Okay, all right. Now you can play around and make this fill in the back. You can play around with them a little bit. Now you can play around with different shades. Now what you're doing, besides shaping the foreground fella, because he is pretty dark, you can shape your rear mountain here. Even though it's kind of gray, but you can. What you're doing is lightening the mountain just enough where you can see shadows of the other two in there. Now the light is hitting my canvas a certain way because there's all sunlight here in my windows. So when you see the photo of it posted, you really get to see what it looks like. But it's, as you can see, quite dark. All right. Okay. Let's go to the foreground. Foreground you can kind of play with. You can put, a tree there. You can put rocks there. I'm gonna just do a couple of boulder type rocks, jet black here. Actually, let's make it a little bit on the gray side here, right here, so you can really see these guys down here on the bottom. So I'll get a rock here. Okay, and I can reshape the rocks any type of way I want. So it's just me really putting some tones in here just to differentiate from that really dark stuff. Now that I did that, I can really shape the rocks with the highlights to whatever design I want with it. I'm just going to get a little bit of white, just very little bit, and then I'll just start shaping the top of the rock here, just like that. Just kind of rub it across there a little bit. Just like that. Get the other one there. I'm just getting a little sliver of white because it's going to mix in with the wet grayish black color in there. And I'll rub in some texture. Just like that. Now as I'm rubbing in this gray texture, obviously I'll put some highlights in that. Just keep it pretty interesting, like so. If I need to, I can return some of that black back toward the bottom in there. Push it up a little bit. So you're just basically just working with tones of color now, or values, color values. Not necessarily color, but it's black and white, but you guys know what I'm saying. Okay, and then I'll work with, very lightly, I'll just kind of skim. One rock could be kind of ahead of the other one. Okay, it's just a soft touch of white. Wherever I might want some of those highlights to kind of be hanging out at there. Give it a little curve there. And then I can just take solid black for wherever I want something just to disappear. Kind of come across down there on the bottom. A little bit of jet black there. Solid black. I think this is also attainable. You guys can do this. I think you can. I think you guys can make this look very interesting. Just like that. Like I said, I don't necessarily have to outline the mountain in the back. The mountain in the back is already outlined. Okay, we got our distinct white glow. that needs to be brighter. So I will take my hand, my finger. Actually, no, I won't. I shall take, I don't want it to be too bright, but we represent the center on this thing, right up in here. Just like that. And you take your finger, circular motion, circular. You want that little bit of brightness right there. Okay. And that's about it. Okay. And that's it, really. That's it. But how's that for a nighttime scene? And I can take a little bit of bright white and just make little dots here and there for the brightest part of the moonlight there. Just little dots. Like I say, they don't have to be even. Just like that. So you instantly got that brightness going. Like I said, I don't have to add any other shine. The moon is going to take care of that for me. All right. So it's like painting black on top of black. All right. Spread that out. Let's bring this up a little bit. You guys can really see what I'm talking about there. I'll bring it as close to full frame as I possibly can there for you. And I'll straighten it out there. All right. Now, once again, there's as you can see by my shadow, there is sunlight coming through, so you guys get to see it totally when I'll let it dry, and you guys can really check it out. Okay, now because of that super bright white, there's still shades of gray on the borders there, which is why you can see the darkness of the pattern of the wave going through. Okay, going across there. All right, so it makes for a very interesting composition. You can add, I mean, it may take away from if you start adding a little water lines where the mountains are, okay, or the little jetties that come out, but you don't really have to use that because it's not total black out on the sides like that. Okay, so it's kind of a tricky little play on values. Okay, from what you see here. All right. So all in all, that is what she looks like. I'm going to sign the name on it, peel back the tape. So even though it's a very simple composition, very simple painting, to get it look convincing and to get it to look right, you really have to mess with your values a little bit to get it to kind of show right. And because of the glycerin that's on here, I'm gonna have to really put the paint on and put my signature on this. But it will dry quicker than you think. No matter how much of the glycerin you might have on it, it's still going to dry a whole lot faster than oil paint. You'll be waiting a while. That's all I need right there. All right. So let's take the tape off. And once again, this whole canvas was covered with your true black edge. Now you see how light everything else is, but you couldn't see it in relation because everything else is, pretty much dark. All right, so interesting little trick, interesting little play on your eyes there, and using nothing but black and white. Okay, we get a painting like this. All right, and we use a lighter color somewhat for the background mountain because of the glow of the moon there. Okay, but the foreground hills are dark, and everything else is pretty much dark, and the shine shines on the rocks here down below. So I hope that I showed you something that could help you out if you want to do a dark themed painting. Like I said, I hope this assists you and helps you out. Okay. Yes, I could probably blend the bright whites in a little better, but I don't think it would really need it. Okay, if anything needs to be done, it would be just more intensity for the moon here, and get the moon brighter and probably centered. It's a little off center there. That's really it. Just intensify that moon glow there, so at least matches the bottom. All right, guys, I hope that this makes a little sense to you. Hope it helps you out. Thank you for tuning in. Very short, not very long at all for a video, and I shall see you when I see you. Take care, be safe. Peace.